Okay, so we're doing number 27, standard form. So next clean page. And we're going to start with some notes here, and then, like I said, we'll use some graph paper that we'll just use what we need, glue into here, and then I have a handout that we'll work through together that we'll also put into our journal, so you'll have it all together. All right, we said today was the 25th, I believe. Okay, let me zoom in here a little bit. All right, so far, all of our equations that we've been working with have been in slope-intercept form. Okay, so we had y equals mx plus b. We used that to graph. We could pick out the m, we could pick out the b, and we did that. Well, we also have standard form that we can use, and that is ax plus by equals c. Okay, this is our standard form. Now, the beauty of this equation is we can also graph from here using x and y intercepts. So far, all we've looked at is our y-intercepts. We had our plus or minus number, and we said that's where we started our graph, and then we sloped from there. Well, when it's in standard form, you can't pick out your slope, because there's a little maintenance that you got to do to it that I'll show you in a few moments, but we can work with what we're given. So if I was given, let's say, 3x plus 4y equals 8, and my directions said to find the x and y intercepts. If I had x and y intercepts, would that be enough to graph the line? Yes, no? If I had, yeah, Riley's like, yeah. How come, Riley? Why is that enough? Yeah, and I only need 2 points. I only need 2 points on the line to graph it. Having more is nice because then I can get a little more accurate, with my line, but 2 points is enough. So if I'm going to find my x and y intercepts, whichever one you're looking for, you zero out the other. Okay, so if I'm looking for x, oops. So if I'm solving for the x-intercept, I'm going to plug 0 in for the y. Because think about it, where the line hits on the x-intercept, think about it, if you just use this example, okay, like this point right here, this would be my x-intercept. What is that ordered pair right there? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, right? Y would be 0. So if we know at the x-intercept y is 0, then I can plug in what I know to find what is left, okay? So that takes care of the 4 and the 0. They wipe out, so I just have 3x equals 8. And then you're just down to a one-step equation. So 8 over 3 reduces to 2 2/3. So that would be my x-intercept. So I have 1 point on the line. Let me zoom in here a little. But I need 2 points. So now if I want to find my y-intercept, think about at your y-intercept, what is the x-coordinate? 0. So this time I'm going to let x be 0, and I'm going to solve for y. So that's gone, and I'd have 4y equals 8, and y would equal 2. So that gives me 2 points on my line. So I would have a point at 2 2/3, 0, and at 0, 2. And that's enough that I can graph that line. 2 points is all you need. All right, let's look at another one. Let's do, I'll number that as 1. Let's do 2x plus 3y equals 12. All right, so if I want to find my x-intercept, what do? Yeah, 0 out the y, so I really have 2x plus 3 times 0. So 2x equals 12. So what is my x-intercept going to be? 6, so 6 and 0. Okay, so that's 1 point. I know the line hits. And then if I want to find my y-intercept, what do? I 0 out the x, right? And solve for y. Oops. So I'd have 0, 4 for my y-intercept. Now, think about where, if you plot those 2 points, 6, 0 and 0, 4, is that a positive or negative line? Think about it. If you plotted those 2 points, it's a negative line. Could you tell that from the equation? Nah, couldn't really tell. So that's the nice thing about when it's in slope-intercept form. I can instantly look. I have my slope. I know, oh, this should be a negative line or this should be a positive line. I can kind of check myself real quick. These don't really stand out like that, so you kind of have to think, oh, well, if I plotted this, and you can do that in your head, 6, 0, that's about there, 0, 4, that's about there. So yeah, that was a negative line, but it didn't look negative from the beginning equation. Okay, so you have to be careful with those. All right, now I'm going to switch you over to graph paper. Who needs graph paper? All right, here, Ann Abbott, take this and pass out whoever needs that. We won't do a lot, but we are going to do a few. Yeah, just raise your hand. She's coming around. But I do want to do some graphing to go along with these. Thank you, ma'am. All right, so I'm going to give you, I'm still going to just number this as number 3 because we will put this in our journal. I'm going to give you the equation. You find your x and y intercepts and then graph. So you got x plus 2y equals 10. I'll start out real easy. Find your x and y intercepts and then graph. Okay, let's look at what we got. So finding the x-intercept was pretty easy. What do we have to do? Y becomes 0, right? And if I'm taking out the y, all I got left is x equals 10, so nothing really to solve there. So then when I want to find the y, I'm zeroing out the x. So y is 5. Everybody good with those two? Oh, what'd you do?
I didn't even put the x because obviously we only goes to nothing, so I put 2 and then 0 and then equals 10 over 2, and then I divided them both by 3.
Oh, but leave your y, because you're not zeroing out y on this one. Because if you put in that 0, you really have like 0 equals 10. So yeah, I think you had the right idea, just you had that 0 on your mind. All right, so then if we're going to graph it, maybe I got enough there. Okay, oh, I got too many that way. That's bad. Let's see. All right, so x is 10. And y was 5. I know I didn't bother giving you rulers, but I think you manage. You can always use your book. So then that was my line. Now, all right, how many got that line? Okay, good. All right. Will, why do we have our Chromebook open? I don't know either. All right, now I could have, I want you just so you see this is really the same line. If I had taken that x plus 2y, bless you, equals 10, and I had wanted to set it up in slope-intercept form, which is what we're going to work on in a few minutes, I could have rearranged it. I could have got y by itself by thinking about, if you're going to isolate a variable, we learned this back in the beginning of the year when we solved equations, we said, okay, let's move x to the other side. And I would have had 2y equals negative x plus 10. Still don't have the variable isolated, so I would have divided by 2. And everything gets divided by 2 because we've got to keep that equation balanced. And I would have ended up with y equals negative 1/2 x plus 5, which is this line. 5 was my y-intercept, and I've got a negative 1/2 slope. If I went down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. So I know we did it right, and we could have went through this process, or that was nice friendly letters. It was easy to find the x and the y. Okay. Now, if I had an equation in standard form, and it said to graph it, I would look at my numbers. These are what I call friendly numbers. You know they're going to divide out evenly, not be a big deal. I wouldn't have bothered going through all of this. I would have just found my x-intercept and my y-intercept. But like that first one, where we ended up with a 2 2/3, we can estimate where 2 2/3 is, but can you be very exact? No. You can't. I mean, we can get close and probably be okay for what we're doing, but you want to be as exact as you can in math. So sometimes graphing them through standard form is easier, and then sometimes we have to be able to solve them for y. You have to be able to do it either way. Okay. All right, let's do one more with the graphing, and then we're going to be focusing on solving for y. Let's do, I want to give you one with huge numbers so you can just graph it. Okay, let's do negative 2x minus 3y equals negative 12. All right, so find your x and y intercepts and graph. Okay, so let's see, Brandon, what did you do to find your x-intercept?
I had negative 2x minus 8.0 equals negative 12.
All right. And then what?
And then I did negative 2x equals negative 4.
Good.
And then I divided negative 2 on both sides. And then I get x equals positive 6.
Good. How many got 6 for their x coordinates? All right, good. So that means we have a point at 6, 0. All right, Aaliyah, what about my y? Okay. 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 So I've got a point at 6, 0 and at 0, 4. So let's see what that looks like. Did I have a positive or negative line here? For the negative line. All right, so I got 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 4. And there was my line. How many got that one? Okay, good. And let's go ahead and take this one. I got a little room here. Let's take that original equation, and what if we do solve it for y? If we get it in slope-intercept form, what's going to have to move first? Yeah, the negative 2x. So how's it going to move? Yeah, we're going to do the opposite. So I've got negative 3y equals. And now can I combine these? No, they're not like terms. And we always like to have that x first because we know we're getting to y equals mx plus b form. So leave the x first. All right, now what? Yeah, everything gets divided by negative 3. So I'm going to have y equals negative 2/3 x plus 4. And we had 4. If we went down 2 over 3, down 2 over 3. That is our line we drew. So you can graph it either way. If you've got nice, simple numbers like this, you get fast at it, you can kind of do it in your head, you'll know where the dots are, and you graph the line, and you move on. If not, you solve it for y. Okay. All right, now, let's hamburger fold this sheet, and we will glue this. I'm going to glue it on the back. Obviously, that's where you'll have to glue yours too. So let's get that glued in. All right, let's go ahead, and I've got that glued in there. Let's title the next page, and then we're gonna actually put a handout in it, but let's go ahead and title it. So this will be 28. We're gonna work solely on standard form to slope-intercept form. So we're going to be converting them. So, yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to fill out a form together, and then we will fold and glue this in. And virtual people that are watching the video, you're going to go to the second video, and it will walk you through filling out the form. Thanks.